All right, for today's deep dive, we're getting into the data stack to understand something pretty unusual happening in London's housing market. It's basically running a massive January sale. So our mission is to look at Zoopla's findings from the end of 2025, focus on these really deep price reductions, and figure out why the capital is correcting so hard while the rest of the UK is, well, expecting growth.
And the data really does confirm it. London is a severe outlier here.
Right.
Nationally, you might see, maybe 7% of properties getting a major price cut. In London, it's a staggering 12.7% of properties.
Yeah.
That's for reductions of more than 5% in just the last quarter of 2025. I mean, the proportion of discounting is almost double the rate you're seeing elsewhere. It's a clear sign of some intense, very targeted seller distress.
That 12.7% figure is just brutal. And Zoopla looked at 120 postal areas, right? And the 5 worst performers for 2026 prospects are all in London. But if affordability is the big issue, why are the most expensive areas? I'm thinking Belgravia, that sort of place, seeing the highest proportion of discounts.
That's what's so fascinating. The high-end areas are competing heavily on price just to move stock. If you look at the SW postcode, so yeah, Belgravia, Chelsea, they lead the entire country. 15% of properties there are discounted.
15%.
Yeah. And prices are already down about 0.8% year on year. So the steepness of these cuts, it's really driven by a serious oversupply problem at the top of the market.
Okay, let's talk about the data point that I think really illustrates this stagnation best. It's this problem of aged stock. We're talking about properties that have been sitting unsold for over 6 months. Across London, it's more than a third of all listings.
Exactly. And that supply glut is most visible in those, high-density, investor-heavy areas. Take West Central, the WC postcodes, places like Holborn and Bloomsbury. More than half, 51% of properties there have been on the market for over 6 months. It's taking an average of 82 days just to sell.
And prices are falling there, too.
They are. They fell about 1.8%. But the steepest correction was actually in East Central, the EC postcodes, which saw prices drop 4.5% on average.
So the evidence really points to a supply crisis right in the center. If we connect this to the bigger picture, what are the systemic drivers behind this?
It's a perfect storm. It really is. It's these affordability pressures colliding with a massive wave of supply.
And where is that supply coming from?
Well, the key catalyst here is that almost a third of the homes currently for sale are formerly rented properties.
A third. Wow.
Yeah, landlords are selling up, the yields are lower, price inflation is weak, and this influx of stock is directly making that aged stock problem worse. It forces owners of older units to just slash prices to compete. And then you've got the higher stamp duty that came in April 2025 that's really curtailed high-value investor activity, taking even more buyers out of the top end.
And that severe correction in London, it just stands in such sharp contrast to the rest of the UK. The national average is predicted to see a 1.5% boost in 2026. You've got northern markets like Motherwell projected to grow 3.4%. They're just moving to a steadier rhythm because they didn't overheat like the South did. The capital, it sort of caught a cold, and now it needs this longer, more painful adjustment.
And that cold translates directly into the supply glut we've been talking about. Meanwhile, in the north, inventories are tighter and affordability pressures are absorbed more easily. This all raises a really important question for you, the listener. Is this window of opportunity closing?
What do you mean?
Well, the early 2026 data is already showing fewer price reductions. It might indicate that sellers are now starting to, hold their nerve.
Because of renewed confidence.
Exactly. Post-budget uncertainty is gone, and we had that interest rate cut in December. Confidence is returning.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, if you are looking for one of those January bargains in London, the source material suggests you probably need to act quickly. These discounted opportunities, which were driven by all those factors in late 2025, they're already starting to dry up as seller confidence comes back. And here's a final thought. While London's superinflated prices are going through this steep correction, it's worth considering whether the biggest long-term growth opportunities are actually in those steadier northern markets. Places like Motherwell, Glasgow, or Paisley, which are all topping Zoopla's 2026 rankings. Maybe the real opportunity isn't in the correcting capital after all. It's just something to think about as you plan your next move.